oh man, like $10.
That's a lot. I stream on Twitch full time. That's like it's a
That's
whole
a couple of
stream, man.
subs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the bottom left here from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Jieshi. I think it's pronounced like Jieshi, but we're Australian Westerners, and you'll have to forgive our ignorant pronunciations. Sorry to native speakers.
And over here in the top right from Kaisi Gaming, he's the Blue Terran. Time.
Absolute monster. I remember in 2019, I had my time matchup replay pack, and I was like, ooh, gonna whip this out on stream, just try some things out, jump into lobbies, try stuff out. Wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, practicing builds, and she's like, you're not gonna win anyway. I'm like, cool.
Thanks.
She's good like that.
Oh, keeping it real.
It makes you work harder, you know? It makes you work harder.
Yeah.
It's good to, you know, you don't want too many people in your life that are easy to impress. You gotta push yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right. And she's married to me anyway, so already got the hard part done.
Hell yeah. Well done. Alrighty, so Waterfall, huh? I'm expecting not a long game.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I kind of expect the Terran to be a bit more aggressive and push on it. Like the shorter rush distance maps usually, for me, Terran favored inherently just because they are a race that is very, very good at timing attacks and pushes and that sort of thing. Sure, you know, there can be some other things that the Protoss, the Protoss or like a more aggressive Zerg player could do on a shorter map. Like maybe if Silky had this map, he would almost certainly be doing some kind of early game rush. But you know, it just parade pushes and that kind of thing just always feels so powerful on shorter maps.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Time wants to just keep two-basing it, I mean, that would be... You don't have a whole lot of space between him getting all his stuff together, pulling the boys, and heading to your base. There are some sort of nice, wider, open areas in the map if you do sort of face off out in no man's land a little bit, but for the most part, there's actually, you know, some nice spots that you can park yourself if you got your siege tanks sort of outside that natural base. You can
ledge.
cut off the pathways to other bases, and you can be a real nuisance. So we'll keep an eye on whether or not he's actually gonna 3cc it or if he's just gonna go for it.
As a ex-Terran player myself, I can say that I got a soft spot in my heart for maps that let you take a medevac and put a tank behind mineral lines that are in range of stuff in the main base of your opponent.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's something that only Terrans will ever smile at. Every other, you know, 66.6 recurring races in StarCraft 2 will disagree.
Just Terran things.
Yep.
Bit of a poke at the front there, denied by Jieshi. He's going to try and come around this side, but there is a stalker waiting from Jieshi. Very nice preparation, denying that vision. And we have the obs coming out from Jieshi, so he'll be able to get some of his own scouting done on the outside of the map.
Ooh. A Hellion pick off there. The main drop here from Time coming in with Marines and a Widowmine. And this is the multi-prong poke here from Time where the Hellions are sort of sharking around on the ground looking for whatever they can pick off. I think the medevac just might have touched the edge of that observer there for Jieshi. And this drop seems relatively shut down. Like, yes, the Widowmine is going to kill a Stalker, but these 4 Stalkers can kite these Marines. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there for Jieshi. Does lose another one.
Yeah, well, getting a couple of Stalkers isn't too bad. Gonna lose the Hellion there.
Doesn't want to lose another Stalker.
Can he get one more Stalker? Oh, that would have actually been pretty sick.
Yeah, Stalkers are a lot more expensive than Marines. Obviously, it's like 125 and 50 gas each. Big deal. Marines, 50 gas each. The medevac dying with the Widowmine does mean that the you know, the trades have gone a little bit in Jieshi's favor here, and certainly in the early game, like a couple hundred minerals more your way in trades is a bigger deal than you know, so they're having a mid game. So a good little win there for Jieshi.
Yeah, and Jieshi's going to be feeling pretty comfy now. Going to that third Nexus, and look at him drop all that tech at once. The Forge, the Twilight, the Robo Bay. So he's definitely looking for that mid to late game, getting all that tech in. And Time, on the other hand, has just dropped his NG Bay as well. Looks like he is also going to opt for the third CC.
Yeah, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned homegrown macro game here. As Time starts +1 attack. He's got the, at least, you know, getting started on the bio upgrades. He's got to get those barracks on those tech labs to start Stim and Combat Shield, the two most important upgrades in the Terran arsenal. And potentially even throw in some more Marauders into the mix as well, because he is, you know, very light unit based right now. We got our boy Jieshi going into the Colossus here. Standard thermal lance, +1 attack, charge coming down. Jieshi only rocking the one forge, and yeah, I actually quite like this position. Both players are very evenly matched right now, playing a good old fashioned macro game. We might see some proper StarCraft here.
Some proper StarCraft.
Some good old proper StarCraft.
Standard thermal lance and the charge coming out there for Jieshi. So we do have some probably nice engagements on the horizon. Hopefully not as short and sweet as our first best of 3. A little bit more positioning will be required on these, hopefully. So we are going to see the third CC float out here. Time desperately chasing down that observer, but it's just barely going to get away. Is it going to drop a turret? Yeah. Not quite willing to let that go. So we'll take it out and limit that vision a little bit.
Yeah, not quite. Do you have the observer rolling back through the middle of the map here? Keep an eye right on the middle as both players just continue to macro on their end. Another tier 3 structure going down. So Jieshi going for tier 3 Robo and tier 3 Templar tech. Be able to head towards Archons if he wants that. Storm as well. Both definitely pretty solid. Obviously very gas expensive to try and do all of that. How many? If he's got the magic number of 3 Colossus, then, you know, you're good. Like, you don't need more than 3. He's got 2. Okay. I think 3 is like the best. That's when they start one-shotting stuff. Yeah.
I love the pylon placement from Jieshi here. He's got good vision in case these drops come in. He's going to try a little bit of a charge lot run by on the right here, but there's a tank and a fair few units there to fend that off. That's something he's going to have to watch out for. Nice quick cancel there from Jieshi so he doesn't lose that. But good job from Time delaying that as well.
Yep. Getting a little bit of damage done with the Widow Mines. Picked off the pylon. Grabbing the Archon there would have been a dream. But the Colossus are in range. They do need to be respected. Armory coming down for Time, as well as the second engineering base. Going to head towards 2-2 and also open up the path to being able to get the Ghost Academy up and running, which is usually well timed out for him. He's usually quite good at having that Ghost Academy well and truly before Archons and Storm become too much of a problem. But seems to be more concerned about the Colossus for now. Putting a lot of minerals and gas into Viking production. Just on the one starport for now. Gets another observer there with the Raven. It's 2 observers killed in this game so far, I think.
Yeah, the Raven's a nice little addition, isn't it? Just so you do have the ability to, you know, shut down a couple of units, but also just being able to clear up the vision. And we see Jieshi is quite good with that. He's always otherwise got an observer somewhere poking around. And you see his use of those pylons, as I mentioned before. But he's going to come in for an attack.
That is a wall right there. Oh, he's going for it. Those Widow Mines are ready to kill these charge lots, though. Oh, good blow in the middle of those charge lots there from the Widow Mines. Yeah, that was an overextension, my dude. Oh.
Get out. Oh, no, he has to run. These are all his expensive units.
Oh, good hot pick up there here with the Prism, but it's delaying the inevitable, unfortunately. Way too much Terran on the dance floor. Rodos getting minced.
All right. That's actually proper bad. He is going to lose everything there. The Vikings clean up the last Colossus. It is heaps bad, bro.
Heaps bad, bro. And, the Terran is super far ahead now. 50 supply up. Most of it in army. And that means that Time can go across the map and make sure that that 4th Nexus does not happen.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything to defend this with. He's going to try and get a couple of Templar in the mix and morph some Archons, but there is enough Terran here, I think, to take it out. He's just going to kite, although it's kind of hurt by it, but with the mines, oh, those zealots, just not quite enough. Can the Archons make a difference? I don't think there's anything to support them here.
Yeah, oh, the Archons are doing all right. I mean, the plus side here for Jieshi is that this bio is very heavily damaged, and Time didn't take everything from home to go across the map. And I don't think that, like, you know, while it's less bombastic and less explosive, I think it is the right call. It's the when you're ahead, get further ahead play from Time to not put all of his eggs into the attack basket, to just, I mean, that's just, you know, salt in the wounds there for Jieshi. Widowmine's getting a few of Stalkers and Gateway units coming through that path there, reinforcing the 5th Nexus. But just going back, getting your upgrades, getting 2-2 finished, getting your enhanced shockwave ready and ghosts out on the field, even getting ship weapons out for those Vikings to slap those Colossi even harder. I think that time is like doing the plus EV play here. Like, this is more likely going to give him the map win than grabbing everything and going.
Yeah, and that's what gives him that status as being such a beast of a player. He doesn't tend to overextend or overcommit or go too hard on the counter swing and end up losing the lead that he got himself with such a nice fight. I mean, Jieshi's literally building his army back from scratch after that, and he teched hard to get up there. So as you pointed out, those upgrades for time are quite nice. He's been able to sort of get back onto them a little bit sooner because he wasn't spending so much slamming out new tech. So Jieshi, you know, he's going to have a pretty nice looking army again here. Sec, it's already starting to take shape, but I think finding those fights is going to be tricky. If you're going to go to Time's base, you got to really watch it because he does have a really nice defensive position, but also you don't want it out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, this army from the Terran, very, very bio-heavy, but he's got a lot of EMPs, and they've got that extra EMP range as well, the radius, rather, which technically also gives them extra range. And technically correct, as I'm sure you'll agree, is the best kind of correct.
Exactly right. We've got 4 more ghosts coming into the mix as the +3 weapons there gets well underway, getting close to halfway done. And time is looking quite formidable here. He's maxed. Jieshi still got a little ways to go, but he's starting to sprinkle in those disruptors, and those, as we know, can definitely make a big difference.
If we see a Dark Shrine and more disruptors hit the field, I think this game can just keep going. It's those are the best comeback units that exist in StarCraft 2, along with, you know, Widow Mines, Banelings, Lurkers.
Vikings looking for some shots on those Colossi, and with the Stalkers blinking out, they actually get free reign for a moment. Huge EMPs over most of that army.
Goodbye, Prism. And yes, in come the charge loss, but they are already cleft in twain thanks to those EMPs. Very, very softened. Only got hit points to work with right now. And my God, the Protoss army is getting torn to shreds by this 2-2 bio army. And Time's going to stutter step his way to the victory here for game 1. A valiant effort from Jieshi, but he's just too good. GG.
Yeah, Jieshi unfortunately getting his army thrown into the meat grinder that is Time's army a couple of times there in that game. Pretty nice setup for him. I like how he teched hard and just focused on the economy. Didn't let Time get too much in the early stages of that game. In fact, Time, not the greatest drop to kick things off. He kind of lost everything there, but the engagement from Jieshi, I feel like he sort of lost himself that one.
Honestly, like if you wanted to pick the moment where that started to where the you know, the game really slipped through his fingers, that was the moment. You know, Jieshi was looking real good until he saw that entrenched position of the Terran where he created the just punching my microphone. I'm sorry, microphone. I love you. But he decided to funnel into this entrenched defensive position that was exactly made to defeat that exact situation. And Jieshi making that decision to engage instead of pulling back and expanding and maybe just getting a few more upgrades and, you know, getting and maxing out, honestly cost him the game there. It's really hard to come back against Time when you're 50-70 supply down. But yeah, that was unfortunate for Jieshi, but it's just the beginning of the series. When we come back from the break, game 2 between Time and Jieshi. So we'll see you then. Don't go away. What is up, StarCraft fans? Welcome back. You are watching the DreamHack Masters main event here for China. I'm Maynard. With me is Zeph, and we are in the midst of our second best of 3 of the evening. And it is time against Jieshi, with time currently up 1-0. Certainly a pretty competitive game one, though, Zeph.
Yeah, it looked pretty good, actually. More or less a gentleman's agreement until the mid game, and then I feel like that was Jieshi's mistake. Really, just getting a little bit too keen to get in there with his army and running into a bunch of SimCity mines, a big Terran spread. Not ideal. He lost everything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we saw the replay and got another refresher of what that army looked like. It was super charge lot heavy, and once the charge lots just evaporated to the Widow mines, there were still tanks and a big concave of bio that could chase down those relatively weak. You know, the Colossus looks so big and so scary, but it is like made out of paper. That thing goes down so fast to bio with stim and +1 upgrades, especially got some Marauders in there. That thing dies real quick. The Archons were the only other spongy thing in that army, and you know, again, without charge loss, without that meat shield keeping everything away from the soft underbelly, you know, the Terran got rid of the crunchy outside, got into that chewy center of the Protoss army, and that's you know, a terrible scenario for Jieshi, and that's what happens when you commit to attack that.
that's exactly right. So hopefully this one will go a little bit smoother. We're on inside and out for our second map between these two gentlemen. And in the bottom left in the red from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Jieshi.
And in the top right, currently on match point, yet to lose a map in this tournament so far. This is Kaiser Gaming's time.
Speaking of not dropping a map, I think last season Time only dropped 2 maps total, and they were both to Cyan. So
yeah,
it's pretty sick.
Yep, I think he dropped 1 map to Cyan in the final.
Yeah. That's why we tend to have a lot of faith in Cyan when he pops up, as he's the only guy that's really consistently challenged Time in this region. I think Jieshi has been on the cusp of that a couple of times, but has had a hard time replicating his success.
Have you noticed that we say the word time more often when he's in the video game than... I know, isn't it crazy?
It's like a magnet. You can't stop.
It's like when Pig and I were casting Nice. It's like, whoa, do I normally say Nice this often, or is it just because he's here?
Yeah. It's kind of like when you bruise something and that's when you start hitting it against every bit of furniture ever.
Yeah, it's like, was I always hitting my knee on everything that exists? Or was it only after I bruised it? I remember coming back from Korea in 2016 with a bad knee injury, and yeah, really, I completely feel you on that, because it felt like for at least a week, everything that could hit my knee hit my knee. Just made it worse. Time coming in for a scout with that Reaper. Does get a look at the main base of Jieshi there. Plus side of inside and out for a Terran is that it's easier to get into the main of the Protoss with the Reaper.
Oh, it's easy to get inside and out, is it?
Yeah. Good
Hey.
one. Oh, you're so funny. This is why Zeph gets paid more than me. Insano's even laughing with the obs cam. He never does that for anyone.
Yeah. I bet chat loves it.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, Reaper's getting some probe damage here. This is not good for Jieshi at all. Is that a 3rd probe dead?
My
Oh, yes,
goodness,
it is.
3. And he's going to get in here again. If he didn't click on the Twilight before, he saw it building, he's definitely seen it now. So he gets to confirm the tech on top. Are you getting
out of here? You Maverick Renegade. Okay, the Reaper overextended a little bit there. Does die, but I mean, Time doesn't really care. Those Reapers are made to die. They are there to scout. They are there to see what's happening in Protossville, and getting probes is just icing on the cake. So they did their job. 4 probe kills, scouted the main entirely. 3rd Reaper shows up, says, "This is my brothers."
He's actually going to get another one.
He might get 2.
Unreal. These Reapers have been so valuable.
Oh my god, target fire that thing. I'm like...
Please, one time.
One time. All right, 3rd Reaper is dead, but that's 6 probe kills now.
Goodness
Not bloody
gracious.
bad.
I do have some stalkers coming in. We've got the blink halfway done and the robo on the way, so we can definitely start moving out with some stalkers poking a little bit.
Mm.
I think he is looking for the third nexus. Yeah, down it goes. So I was gonna say the other option would be just to go ham with the blink, but I don't think that's a great idea here against time.
I don't think he needs to. Like, yes, he lost a
Yeah.
few probes there at the start, like more than he definitely would have wanted. But you could see in the resources lost there that the Reapers, those 3 Reapers going down is 150 gas. He lost a heli in there in the end as well. It was another 100 minerals. So pretty expensive at the time to do that in the early stages of the game. But on the plus side, he knows absolutely everything that Jieshi is up to. He knows that this is a blink opener and that he's going to just have to play pretty normally, but like a little bit conservatively at the start. He's even getting the Raven out just to make sure that if the Zerva comes close, it doesn't get too close and he can potentially pick it off without scanning. It's the power of the Raven. It has so much versatility and utility at the start of the game for Terran, but once you get one, you don't really need more unless you're one of those Terrans that likes to get a lot of Ravens. You know those guys.
I do know the kind. Well, it looks like they're both gonna sit and chill just for a little bit as we power up here. Again, we've got the combat shield stim and +1 combo on the production tab for time. Jieshi finally going to mobilize some of these stalkers and just have a bit of a poke, see what's at the front of the base. He hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to get out here.
She's making quite a few gateways right now. 6 more gates and charge. Jieshi's got the 3 gases, and it looks like he's playing the old Zestarino styles, where you flood gateway units on 3 gases and basically forego, things like Colossi, Disruptors, Storm. All of that's off the table for a bit. He's going for armor first, so he's going to be very, very charge light heavy by the looks of things. And normally you'd go for attack if you were going for anything else.
Yeah.
Even then, I kind of like attack more. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how he goes with it. These low-tech armies were definitely all the rage for the longest time. It was like every PvT we were watching, that's more or less what we were seeing. He has backed off for the moment. We're starting to see some Immortals added in, and time might be the one to make the first move here as he unsieges, picks up, and heads out.
Raven came across the map there for a little bit of auto turret harassment, but got caught there by Jieshi. Fought back, and it looks like time feels like, hey, I got a good window here for my army to potentially get something done on the other side of the map, and he's right. All those important upgrades for the Terran, combat shield, stim, +1 attack, all that's finishing for him right now. Loses the Raven, unfortunately, but his army still is quite strong. Zealot's gonna get Widow Mines, but good splits on the Zealots. Widow Mines actually not getting a whole lot done there.
Nice. Start a step backwards. Let's see how much he can juice out of this Bio army. I was going to say, unless he gets a siege up, I'm not actually sure if he has enough to push forward here. And Jieshi moving forward aggressively to meet that army shuts that down quite nicely. Getting the Raven, the medevac, the siege tank. That's 3 key units that he lost right off the bat there. And that basically put a stop to it. One of those medevacs very bruised as well. He's still got a nice ball of bio to play with, don't get me wrong. Still a mine or 2 in that mix as well. But yeah, he really didn't get to put the pressure on that third base that he was hoping for.
And Jieshi switching gears here, grabbing the extra gases on his 3rd Nexus and going into what looks to be Colossus production, getting another Robo, going up to 2 Robo with the Robo Bay. Could be Disruptors, but I think going to a few Colossus before going Disruptors is pretty common.
Jieshi's more of a Colossus guy though, isn't he? It's not really the kind of player to go for Disruptors first.
Yeah, nothing's more exciting than laser beams.
That's exactly right. But,
more laser, more good. Marine confirms that there's no Nexus up here, but doesn't know about bottom right just yet. Time moving out again, and every time he does it, he actually has a relatively decent timing attack lined up for him. He's about to have 1-1 upgrades. He's got an army supply lead. He's splitting his forces up to the right and left as well. Right and middle, I should say. The right side's going to threaten bottom right. Middle, trying to go up the guts and see what they get done in the natural, between the natural and the 3rd.
Yeah, smartly. Jieshi was already aware that this was the move from Time, so he's already
Yeah,
positioned
middle's
half
not
of
going
his
well.
units over here on the bottom right. He has a few charge slots. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. There's a few more
Mm.
rolling in. He's getting another warp in with a couple of stalkers to help out. Having lost the mines early on when they clashed closer to Time space, I think that helped out a lot. And now those zealots can actually come in for a bit of counter pressure. But Time actually not being able to crack through Jieshi after
Yeah,
those Reapers.
Jayshi's been defending very nicely here. I actually quite like that for Jayshi on the right side. His Zealot that was locked on by the Widowmine just pulled back from the pack, and the others were pretty healthy. Got forced time to pick up his units into the medevacs and go back home with his tail between his legs. Time is getting towards the scarier army that is tailored to defeat Jayshi's army. That is, he's going towards Ghost with EMP. He's going towards Viking production off the Starport against the Starport spinning once more. No more medevacs for him. It's just going to be Vikings from now on to make those Colossus get decimated if they get too close. And Jieshi is like, hey, it's attack time. And you know what? There isn't a beautiful Sim City at this third base, at least not the path that Jayshi's going to really funnel those charge lots and gateway units like there was, in the last game.
Oh, looks like Time's slapping down a bit of that SimCity just before he commits in here. The mines on the front lines get lasered down pretty quick. The bunker gets focused as well with the depots and the turret in here. It's making it a little bit awkward to get in closer, but the Colossi are so helpful here. The Stalker's just firing at range, and Time is trying to spread out. He wants to move that siege tank to a bit more of a decent position. Ghosts are now here as well.
And they do have an EMP available. There it is. Goes into the middle of the pack. And with the EMP connecting, Jayshi's waiting for that disruptor. I think with the disruptor, he's going to try and hit those ghosts. See if he can get that disruptor over. He's going for the right side. Looks to be a bit more bio over there. He does get a decent connection. Left side's going for the ghosts. Actually whiffs a bit. But it looks like Jieshi might have enough to be able to push through. This is actually very close.
Ooh, I think Jiechi's going to lose the Colossi, but there's not a lot of bio left here at all. The third base is forced to lift, and Time hasn't had a chance to take his fourth base yet. He's actually going to try and float that out right away now. And with what he has left here, target down the disruptor, very nicely done. He's going to get back into the natural here, but he's actually got to wait a sec to just get a few more units so that he can push this back. There's still an immortal in the mix.
Reinforcements.
Yeah, with more coming, this might actually be a bit tricky for Time to flush out of here.
Yeah, Jieshi able to reinforce really quickly here. Oh, that disruptor getting gunned down. Another one going down, but Jieshi still with an army supply lead, with a probe lead. He is absolutely winning this game, and he's looking the strongest any Protoss has looked against Time so far in any of these maps. Liberators are on the way, which are fantastic, but they're not here right now, which he really needs. And that disruptor Nova was not bloody bad. Time's going to tap. Jieshi ties up the Series 2 apiece, and we're going to go to the ace match.
Really nice game from Jieshi. He looked calm, collected, and in control on that one. After the dodgy start with the Reapers, that wasn't ideal, but no tilt from Jieshi at all after that. Just sort of picked up where he left off. Nice macro game, nice timing. And our Terran player there not able to find a way in. Actually, none of his multi-prong or timings there actually did really anything. He mostly just traded.
Time was the aggressor in that game. He really wanted to be in Jayshi's face. He's already in his face at the beginning of the game with his 3 Reapers. And then, when he was going for his regular attacks that Terran like to do, Jieshi defended beautifully between the natural and also the 4th and the far right side. And the counterattack on the 3rd CC of Time, it didn't seem like the Terran was prepared with that SimCity very well. The concave was also a little bit awkward, and with splash damage hitting, you're going to be losing SCVs as well as hit points on your command center. And as soon as that was lifted, and the reinforcements came in from the middle of the map for Jieshi, you could see that Time was just kind of dealing with an avalanche of Protoss, and he was not able to, to stymie the flow of all those Protoss units just going down his gullet. And he unfortunately just got outnumbered and outgunned.
Yeah, as the game went on, Time just never got a chance to actually slow Jieshi down. He never got into any mineral lines. There weren't any drops happening. The attacks all basically got shut down before they really got started. The second multi-prong one, the right-hand side was intercepted by charge slots. Jayshi's too smart to think that was all that he had. He already had the army in position for the second half of the force on the left-hand side, so he's just really well prepared, and it shows that he seems to know how Time plays these sort of longer games as well. He knows what moves are probably going to be coming his way, and that's to his credit here. He's prepared really well, and yeah, just kept his Protoss army together, and when the time was right, absolutely shoved in there and got rid of all of Time's army. So very well done. We have a series on our hands, and we'll be going to map number 3, which was, I think, Moondance. That's what I wrote down for myself.
Yeah, no, Moondance. I think you're right on that one. Another shorter rush distance map, similar to game 1, but that didn't really favor our Protoss player here. That actually ended up being Time that won game 1 with, I think, what just was pretty regular Terran play, but an incredible defense that turned into a lead. And honestly, that's kind of the story of game 2, where it was a pretty incredible defense from Jieshi that turned into a lead. And the counterattack was pretty devastating. It looked close for a bit there, but he's on 4 bases. His economy's beasting compared to Time, who's also pulling SCVs into fights, whose economy's getting worse. His third gets lifted, and all of a sudden he's a 2-base Terran against a 4-base Protoss, and he's getting schwarmed at that point. Looking forward to game 3. These guys seem to be a lot closer match than I remember.
Yeah, that's the fun part. It's always a bit of a question mark for me what Jaishi's form is like coming into a new season. He's looked better in some seasons and not so great in others, but he tends to still be hovering around that top 4 regardless.
Yep.
So yeah,
he makes top 4 pretty consistently, Jieshi. Actually, I think it was last season where I was like, it's weird that he's not here.
Yeah.
Because he's just been a mainstay for top 4 for me for like the last 2 years, I think, since we've been doing online main events for the multiple regions since C19.
Yeah, we could see a bit of an upset with Jieshi taking a 2-1. That's entirely possible. We are now loaded into Moondance to see who's going to come out on top here. This is the winners match of Group A. From Kaizi Gaming in the bottom right, this is Time.
Oh, hell yeah. Get it done, player. In the top left here, in the red from Dragon Phoenix Gaming with a lovely game 2, this is Jieshi.
Well, nothing
Well.
A bit of filth to enter the third game.
Yeah, I mean, this it could be filthy. It could also just be a proxy Reaper, which I feel like isn't filthy that much. It's like it's a bit more committal than having a barracks at home, but it's something that Protoss used to complain about a lot. Oh no, okay, this is filthy. Yep.
Tech
Yep.
lab.
Oh yeah, I think this is the Marauder one. The Marauder variety. This one is filthy. This one's very expensive, pretty committed.
Yeah, so does Jieshi come out and scout? Because this is one thing where if your opponent notices that you're not necessarily the most diligent scouter, or you just always tend to throw the probe straight over to the main base, this is absolutely something that makes sense to throw out at least once in a best of 3, because chances are they're not going to find it. Now, Jieshi is actually taking a bit of a long way around here. He's going to sort of check a couple of corners and crevices, but not in the direction that he needs to.
Yeah, you were talking about his scouting being vigilant, and I'm like, he's been pretty active with that probe. He just hasn't found the damn thing. He's gone everywhere except for where the proxy is, unfortunately for Jieshi. And this is made to destroy early Stalker openings, which a lot of Protosses will do, which is exactly what Jaishi's doing.
He chronoed that Adept out, marching straight across the map to do some damage, and look at that, 180 the second he sees these units come out. He wants to target down that SCB, get rid of the bunker, but he's got to get in there.
This is where is Terran you type from, question mark, in the chat.
That's exactly right.
That's how you make friends on ladder.
Oh, is that how it's worked out for you?
Well, how are you going to know where your opponent's from? It's a really good, it's a really good start. It's an icebreaker. As their Nexus dies, you find out, where they're located. It's like, oh, cool, man. You're in Arizona, sick. Oh,
man.
Jieshi.
Fight fire with fire.
Exactly. You just took the words right out of my mouth. That's right. Filth begets filth begets filth.
It's what he deserves, honestly.
He does deserve it, this naughty boy.
that Nexus is gonna go down here. We're just gonna conserve the units and the cash money for that DT tech that's gonna be coming out on the other side of the map. Now, does Time try and poke up here and further his advances into Protoss territory? Absolutely he does.
Absolutely, 100%. These units aren't going to stop him. Shield battery will, though.
Not if they get out of the range, though.
Zeph's trying to make me look bad, guys. She just tries to shut down everything I say. She doesn't like my opinions. Bully commentator.
Well, it looks like he was just going to get the one unit there. Had to retreat to the bunker as the Marauders are getting pretty bruised. We do have a follow-up drop from Time leaving the base, but the DTs are warping in, Maynard. And what does Time have in answer to that?
I mean, if he's got scans... He's actually got no units. Never mind.
Closing the door definitely helps. That buys him a bit of time.
Yeah, DT is definitely going to get some damage done, and a great counterplay from Jieshi. This game's getting weird.
Yeah, we've got a Raven in production. He's using the repair to wait for that air unit to come out. Now with the Hellions and the Marauders, though, probes. Shield battery isn't going to help you here. Oh, this is going to be carnage in the probe line.
Yeah. So yeah, the third Hellion does die, but he is going to start killing these probes, one-shotting them with the two Hellions if they're out range of that shield battery. Looks like the Widowmine might have gotten a DT there, but 12 probes have gone down, and that's pretty huge, especially considering the Natural of Time isn't killed yet. It's delayed, but it's not dead. So the DT's going to push back and that finishes. This is a big dub for Time, and it's already looking all right with the Raven being out now. And Cyclone and a Banshee on the way as well. Really hard units for Jieshi to do anything about. Good call from Time.
Yeah, very nicely done. The DTs are trying to maximize whatever they can here in terms of damage, taking out units, as they know that their days are numbered here. Now that the Raven's out, we've got a Cyclone here to help chase those down too. Oh, little Archon Morph, very clever.
Yeah, very clever. That's going to save those, well, not really save those two DTs. They're being sacrificed for the greater good, being turned into a big, fluffy ball of death. And this is actually going to potentially get a cancel on this Natural, which would be a huge win for Jieshi, as he is taking his Nexus up back at home. This game is very weird. It's been turned on its head. And in a weird way, I still feel advantage Time because he's got things like a Banshee, Raven, he's got a tank, and honestly, like, just the Banshee going across the map is very annoying for Jieshi.
Oh, Jieshi, look out. Not with the tank.
Oh, losing the Archon would be pretty brutal here.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of stuff. Let's not forget, he lost a bunch of workers. He's trying to get the tech happening again, but he actually doesn't really have anything on the field aside from those 3-4 units that we just saw. So if Time actually builds up, maybe like pushes with that second tank and Banshee, that's going to be really hard for Jieshi to hold, actually.
Well, these Banshees have got cloak, Zeph. And a Robo is just finishing now. Also, Jieshi going straight in charge. He does not have Blink. So it's going to be very annoying for him to have to deal with Banshees.
Yeah, that's going to not be ideal at all. This Dark Shrine is going to be taken out by Time as well, which means no more access to those Archons for the moment. And oh man, these Banshees.
Oh yeah. Gonna be one-shotting probes in tandem as long as their shots are synced up. The Stalkers come home, but again, without Blink, very hard for them to actually chase those Banshees around.
This also pins Jieshi at home. Even if he had stuff that he wanted to move out with, he's got to sort of deal with these Banshees, have something lingering in the mineral lines just to fend that off. And Time is going to turn things up a notch. He's going to send those siege tanks, a couple of Marines across.
Yeah, I think he thinks he wins this game with this push. Charge is going to make this a little bit awkward, because there's not like a meat shield in front of these tanks.
Yeah.
If the Charge Lot swarm on these tanks, they could take them down. The Banshees, oh, I mean, it's triple Banshee. Oh, never mind. With the auto turret harass.
Triple tank.
Oh, and there's more Marines than I thought. So I actually think that Time's just going to just roll through this.
Oh my goodness. This isn't even fair for the Protoss at this point. Oh, it's too much damage.
He's already dead.
GG. Time takes the 2-1.